Hello my fellow Christian fiction lovers, welcome to another reading vlog. Today I am doing a reading vlog for a long-awaited book. I have been wanting to read this book since I first saw it posted about on Instagram, I think it was. And I hadn't even read Lynn Austin at that point, but that is Chasing Shadows by Lynn Austin. I think she might have another book coming out now, or it's already out. I am kind of behind in like keeping up with new releases of authors I have read and stuff, but you know, I read books when I can, and this one I am finally getting around to reading, so there's going to be a reading vlog for it because I feel like this book gets a lot of hype, so I just want to add my thoughts on it, and haven't done a reading vlog in a while, so here we are. That's what we're doing, and I'm going to start this today, and then I will share some thoughts with you once I've gotten through a little bit of it. I am 100 pages through it. That's 15 chapters, and the story has picked up. It took a minute to pick up. I feel like the inciting incident and like getting into the story took kind of a while. Probably the first 80 pages, which I guess for a 400-page book isn't terrible. But it follows three characters. The primary two characters are two young women. One is a girl who moves away from her farm and goes to Leiden to basically be like a companion to this lady who struggles with bouts of depression from time to time. And then the other girl is a Jew, and she and her father escape Germany where they were living and end up in Leiden where he's a professor, and she is just like struggling to make it, and she struggles with anxiety, like panic attacks and stuff. So I'm really liking the presence of mental illness in this book and like how it has affected people through all time, you know. And it's not like forced, this is the agenda of this book, but it's definitely there and it's a presence, and I really appreciate that. I haven't read a historical fiction that deals with mental illness in, I can't even remember the last time. I know I have, I just can't remember it at the moment. But anyway, that's kind of the premise. Both girls meet guys and they fall in love, and that is not like a big part of the book, it just is a part of the book, and those are supporting characters. There is a third woman, and it is the girl who like moved from the farm to the city. It's her mother, Lena, and Lena, I'm not like, I don't love her character. I kind of think she's a bit of a worrywart, but I mean, she had to like let go of her daughter, and her husband just went to war, so I mean, I should probably cut her some slack because like those are some pretty stressful things to go through, but she's kind of a stereotypical like over anxious mother. Again, she's living through a war, so we're gonna be nice to her. I'm gonna try and be nice to her. The writing style is a bit flat for me. I feel like the dialogue is very rough and not extremely conversational, whereas the writing of what the characters are feeling and their emotions, how they're handling what's going on around them, is more thought through and more relatable, whereas the dialogue, there have been some times I'm like, I don't think that would be a real conversation. But that is just my thoughts on the writing style, and just kind of my general thoughts so far. The premise of the story: war has just started, panic has set in as war has started, specifically Germany invading the Netherlands, and that's where we are. Oh, this book is set in the Netherlands. If you don't know, Leiden is a big city in the Netherlands, and that's where it's all taking place. So just thought I would mention that. And that's where we are, and I will check back in with you after I've read probably another 100 pages. Hello, I am 200 pages through Chasing Shadows, 31 chapters in. A little over 200 pages actually, 207. I'm at the halfway point, and I definitely think that the story is a bit not lacking, but I'd say there's still a lot of buildup that is happening for us being halfway through the book. And I don't know if this is like a me thing, because I have noticed this like recently with some of the books I've read, if there's not a lot of action happening by the halfway point, I kind of like, I don't think of them negatively, but I definitely point it out. And I've noticed that in a couple of reviews I've done specifically this year. If the book hasn't really gotten going by the halfway point, I definitely mention it and point it out. So maybe that's just a me thing, but stepping aside from that self-realization moment, the story is starting to get to this tense place where it's like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? And the way the book starts is with this prologue of Lena, the mother, and it's at the very end of the war, and it kind of poses this question of, how did we get here, and now what do we do next? And I'm starting to see the answers to that first question, how did we get here, play out in the book, and it's really awesome. And I love a moment like that when we kind of get to see what the conclusion is, but we're not entirely sure how we get to the conclusion. And so we start the story. I love moments like that. I will say there is quite a lot of like tense, dramatic moments in the book. It is war. I don't want to spoil too much, but the Jewish characters do have to go into hiding at one point. I'm sorry if that's too big of a spoiler for you. Apologies. But the decisions that they are having to make concerning their loved ones is just, it's so touching, and decisions I would never want to have to make, and I feel for them. I am looking forward to reading the rest of it. I'll update you in another 100 pages, I guess. But yeah, that's where I am right now. We're 300 pages through, exactly, I think, actually. We are exactly 300 pages through, 46 chapters in. Oh my word, this book is picking up steam. I think it listened to me when I said in the last clip it wasn't progressing. So much has happened, literally so much. It's kind of crazy, honestly. It's hard to describe because I don't want to spoil the plot. I guess minor spoilers. But anyway, some of the characters have to go into hiding and have to make just these really tough decisions, and one of the characters, Miriam, she is the Jewish young woman who had like escaped with her father. Anyway, she battles these like feelings of despair and just emptiness, and I love how it is portrayed of how she handles having to make like just these awful decisions. Like, she makes them for the good of others, but they're like soul crushing to herself. Just seeing how she overcomes and has to then have relationships with other people. It's just so like sad. I'm so sad for her. I'm like, girl, I don't want you to have to go through this. And I just think it is portrayed so well, the emotions, and then just the worry, doubt, fear, and anxiety of all the characters as they're going through this horrific wartime, having no idea what's on the other end, if there's even going to be an other end. I just find it all so beautifully written and really captures the essence of what people felt like during that time. And I mean, clearly we don't know because we weren't around, but you know, I feel like it could be so accurate. And I think one of the reasons I love wartime stories so much is just because of the way people have to overcome their fears, and it really makes you think, would I have done that? Because it's easy to say when you're not in the heat of a war, like, sure, I'd resist, I'd do everything I could. But when faced with the reality of it and reading it through these characters' eyes, it's just so terrifying, and I can feel their fear, and like I'm scared for them, even though I know like the war is going to end, like there's going to be a somewhat happy ending, you know. Of course it's not perfectly happy because so many lives were lost, but that was a little tangent that kind of had nothing to do with the book, but I just feel like it's expressed so well, and I really feel like I'm there with these women, and I want to embrace them and tell them it's gonna be okay. I think I'm far enough into this book to say, as of right now, it's looking like it's gonna be a solid 4-star rating. It's definitely better than like a 3.5 star, which I'd say is my average as of lately, but I wouldn't say it's close to a 5-star just because of some of the flat writing, especially towards the beginning. The writing has gotten like so much better in the last 100 pages. It just, like, we got to the halfway point and just, it became a lot better all of a sudden. Or maybe it's because I'm just really caught up in the story and so I'm overlooking some things. We'll see. But anyway, those are my current thoughts. I can't wait to finish it, but I also don't want to say goodbye to these characters. I'll catch up with you once I have finished Chasing Shadows. Plot twist, I ended up finishing Chasing Shadows today. I could not put it down. I like read 50 pages and then I had to go do something and I was like, I can't wait to get back to it and just finish it. And so I just finished it. So I liked it. It was a good book. The last half of it just, oh, it made me so sad, but the ending was well worth it. I could tell that Dolce wants to say hello. I could tell that there was definitely some inspiration taken from The Hiding Place by Corrie ten Boom, which is a book I have read quite a few times, and in the author's note she does say that she did take some heavy inspiration from The Hiding Place. I mean, as simple as names of characters to like actual events in the book that are a bit similar to things that happened in The Hiding Place. And now The Hiding Place is a true story for those of you who have not read it. It is a true story, and Lynn Austin does allude to the fact that she was inspired with some of those events and some other events that happened in the Netherlands during World War II in her writing, and I could definitely see that, and I kind of liked that inclusion because The Hiding Place was definitely an influential book in my life. It still is. It's an amazing book and I would encourage you to read it, but that's not what this video is about. So I really liked seeing that mark of influence and understanding the story even better because of it. All around, the characters were really good. The decisions they made were so hard, and I think this book and the testament it is to its main characters is just that, like, perseverance and faith in God will allow you to make some of the toughest decisions you will have to make. And these main characters just show that through that perseverance, you can keep going, and though it is difficult and hard, and you don't know if you'll make it out on the other end, God is with you, and His promises never fail, I guess. That's just kind of the message that I got from it. I did feel the presence of the character's faith quite a lot in the book. Dolce keeps biting me, which I definitely appreciated. I think sometimes Christian fiction is marked as Christian just because the author believes in God, which I've read some Christian fiction that there's not any Christian element to it. There are tons in Chasing Shadows. The character's faith is so big for them, and the Jewish faith and the Christian faith and the way they intermix and play out, it's so beautiful, and I highly recommend this book, guys. It is a solid 4 stars for me, and the growth of the characters, the inclusion of mental illness, I know that's kind of like a taboo word for some people, and it could be triggering is what I mean. I wouldn't say it's overemphasized, but definitely talking about the despair and anxiety that the survivors of World War II had to have gone through is definitely present, and I think that sometimes that can be overlooked in fiction, is characters who go through extremely traumatic events and then it's just over and they don't ever have to deal with it again. That's not really the case in Chasing Shadows. They definitely have to deal with their trauma and get over it, and I really liked that. Or not get over it, but just keep living with it and recovering. So great inclusion. I felt like it was a really well-rounded book with the plot and with the characters, and yeah, I hope you guys pick it up and read it because it would be well worth it. And I just pre-ordered the newest Lynn Austin book today, so I'm looking forward to that coming and unboxing it and probably doing a reading vlog for it. But let me know your thoughts on Chasing Shadows, if you read it, if you're hoping to read it. Would love to chat about it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a like. And if you want to see more content like this, go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video, whatever that is. Until then, bye!